Hello, this is Daniel Piatek. Looks like we're live. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. It happens to be 10 o'clock at night where I am in Vietnam. So welcome. So what we're going to be doing today is a co-creation. So I've decided to, based on the kind of the guidance from my guides and my own desire to want to help more people than I can when I do one-on-one work, was to basically try to take what I do and bring it to a group setting to see what can come forward using my intuition, using the connections that I have to bring in information for people, to bring it to a group of people. So we're going to discover together and explore what can come from this. So tonight where I am, today where most of the rest of you guys are, we're going to be looking at how to deal with the kinds of fear, anxiety, uncertainty that's coming up in all of our lives in one way, shape, or form, and basically how to make the most of this time that we're in. So really quickly, just to introduce you if you don't know who I am. So my name is Daniel Piatek. I do spiritual work with people where I help them to find their way forward in their life with whatever they're dealing with, whether it's doing an intuitive reading of looking at the particular issues that are on their plate today, or working with people longer term in one-on-one mentorship coaching situations where I'm moving them from where they are to where they want to be to align their life with what it is that they're here to do on planet Earth. So I do that through the use of my intuitive capacities to bring in the right information at the right time in the right way, coming from my 30 years of work on myself, doing transformative spiritual work of all kinds over a lot of time, and a lot of my own study and exploration, really, with the newest kind of technologies coming up around healing. So that's a little bit about what I do, and what I'm going to kind of bring to bear tonight is really using my intuitive skills, which I use the tarot to help me to access my intuition, and I might be sharing some cards with you along the way to kind of help you to see what I'm looking at. What I find is that the cards often speak to my clients in ways that my words don't necessarily. The images, the energy that's presented on the card helps to evoke information for them in a way that's different than coming from my mouth. So welcome everybody. Based on where I am, I apologize because I'm trying new technology. I cannot see who's here from where I am, although, because what I would like to do, I think there's a way to do it, is I'm going to ask you, if you're here, to please put in the comments, hi, so I know that you're here. And I would really love, because I'm going to be looking at these a little bit later, any kind of particular questions you have, and I want to try to work this in. So this isn't meant to be individual readings, but we're just going to kind of explore and see where we're led here together. So if you would please put in the comments, and I'm going to I got my phone over here. This is all new for me. Is if you could put in there what questions you have, that would be great. And if I can't figure out how to get to them tonight, then I will respond to them afterwards. So, as with everything, just as I was getting ready to go live, the camera goes berserk, and I'm looking at the camera, and I look and I see this coming back at me. I thought I'm going to scare the hell out of people. So anyway, we got it together. So the first theme that was coming to me as I was sitting here, and as I'm shuffling the cards to kind of get us started, is the idea of metamorphosis. So I've been speaking to a lot of people in these past couple of weeks, clients that I've been working with ongoingly, and then a lot of people that I haven't spoken with before, really. And there's a couple of things that are sticking out to me. So one is that given the opportunity to have me help with the most pressing one or two issues on people's minds, is what's coming up is issues that have been left there undealt with for quite a while. So I wasn't expecting that. Kind of surprised me, but then it kind of made sense to me when life gets interrupted like this, when we can't keep going with the kinds of things that have been keeping us busy, keeping us out in the world, keeping us kind of, without thinking about it, running away from the more challenging parts of life. And that when life stops us, that what's waiting for us there is the stuff that we haven't wanted to or known how to deal with. And so that's been really interesting. And then the other theme is the theme of metamorphosis. So caterpillar into a butterfly, and I won't go into too much. I have a feeling it's going to come out in these cards because I just feel it all over the place as I'm getting started. So the simple idea is that the caterpillar, to anthropomorphize the little guy, has no idea that what he's doing as he starts weaving his cocoon onto the leaf, that he's going to be coming out the other end of it a completely different creature. He has no idea. But he does what he knows to do. Sometimes with us, life forces us into these cocoon moments where we don't have a choice. Choice is made for us. And we're given a chance to stop and take a look at what's most important to us. And so we're going to play together, because I'm realizing as I'm doing this, things are coming to me. So we're going to play together. So I'm going to ask you to think about something that's coming up for you. And I'm going to be really curious to see how this reading goes. Reading for, well, there's 13 people watching right now, and whoever's watching this on the replay. And I would really love it in the comments if you could let me know how this goes for you, because I'm realizing I'm getting drawn into stuff that I'm used to doing with one person, and I don't know how this is going to work as a group. So to come up, think about something for you that's really asking you to take a look at yourself, how you view yourself, how you see yourself. So these things can show up in ways where like if a job or situation has changed and we realize, hold on a second, I don't really know what to think of myself if I'm not doing that. Or you're being stuck at home maybe with people that you live with but don't necessarily see all the time, and it's giving you kind of a reflection of yourself that's new. Where is life showing you something about yourself that you didn't expect? Because Eight of Wands reverse is saying, time to stop and take a look there. So I'm just choosing cards, by the way. This is how I choose it. So sometimes it feels like on the other end is like, he's got these things lined up. But the way I pick cards is I shuffle and I pull from the middle of the deck. So, and I'm going to let this lead us through. I'm going to let the cards lead us through this exploration. So this is interesting energy. So we're starting with, where is life showing you something about yourself or something that's happening that's making you begin to reflect on yourself and maybe see yourself in a different way? Maybe one of the ways to know that is, what's making me uncomfortable? This is going to be good. What's making me uncomfortable? So pull that up in your mind, and if nothing's coming to you right now, just suspend this in the air until something comes to you. Because what's coming up next is the Ace of Cups. The idea with the Ace of Cups is new energy, new input, a new message about what makes you feel good. So, in the realm of this thing that is showing up for you in your life, we'll get to something that's more kind of universal for a reading after all this, but I just kind of follow where I'm led, is what's showing up for you that's making you question yourself or take a look at yourself in a new way. Bring that to mind. If you don't have it yet, just hold it out there. I wonder. Because life is asking you to take a look at that part of yourself, that situation, that relationship, that way of seeing yourself, and find how to feel good about yourself in that particular situation or in that relationship, in that dynamic. So, sorry, it cracks me up. Because life's trying to give you a message, and it's maybe been trying to give you a message. Page of Swords in reverse. It's maybe been trying to give you a message for a while, and you haven't been listening. So the messages can come like, listen, you need to stop and take a look at this. Listen, you know that this really isn't a good situation for you. Hey, there's probably a better way to do this. Hey, you know that you can't keep having that person in your life or keep having that same dynamic with that person. So life has been trying to probably show you in some way that there's something that needs to be looked at, needs to be reassessed, needs to be stopped and just seen for what it is. Now that's the beauty of the time that we're in now, is because life is basically, I said to somebody the other day, it's like what's happening now is God has said, hey you, come over here, sit down, shut up, and let me talk to you. In a very loving voice, of course. And I feel like that's the amazing opportunity we're being given in this time where there's a lot of unknowns. And when there's a lot of unknowns, one of the places that's important to look at is, where is it that I can have a say, I can have an effect, I can do something about. And since most of us are stuck in our homes or something that's serving as our homes for the time being, there's a lot of time to take a look at these things. And so life is saying, please take a look at this now, because it's important that you use this time to find where you can feel good about this. Ace of Cups, for those of you who know the tarot. Where can I feel good about this? My God. So, I tell you, I don't make this stuff up. So, Wheel of Fortune, 7 of Swords, 9 of Cups. Or is it 10 of Cups? 9 of Cups. It's just time to do this. It's time to stop and take a look at this. So I'm going to come forward and give you some help about how to do this, because these things in our lives, as I'm finding as I talk to people, these are things that they've not wanted to, maybe you haven't wanted to look at, or you just haven't known how to. There hasn't been the space, there hasn't been the time, there hasn't been the sense that it's that important, because life has been basically telling us in some way, look, deal with this, you got to do this, etc. And now that a lot of those shoulds, have to, musts have been cleared off of our table, so right there, the stuff that's been cleared off the table in your life, those demands, those needs, those, maybe it's having to go to work and you don't have money coming in. So it can be things that are causing you distress. So I want to acknowledge that in all these things that I'm talking about, each of us has our own situation with what's going on in terms of how much stress this is causing us. So I just want to acknowledge that. And what's coming forward is how to make the best use of whatever it is. So is to see that life clearing the deck for us, not having to run out to the grocery store so many times, not having to take the kids here and there. Now I understand that brings other challenges, both of those, but is to see that the positive is that life is saying it's time for you to deal with that thing, or maybe things that you haven't been dealing with. Because that there's things that you're not seeing, things that in that card it can also be like are being hidden from you, but I'm not feeling it so much that way. There's just things that aren't as they appeared to be. So this can happen a lot because we're not wanting to see the truth, or we just don't know how. Like, it's just, I don't know how to deal with that, so I'm going to push it off. But what life is telling you, what's coming forward in this card and this card. It's funny, I just did a reading where these two cards came up. Is life is saying there's something amazing waiting for you out there. But you got to be willing to stop and ask these questions. Okay, so, because there's choices that need to be made. So the Lovers, in the tarot can mean a couple things. One of them is needing to make a choice, really needing to be clear for yourself what it is you want in that particular thing that you're dealing with that maybe you haven't wanted to deal with. So, since we're there, and I don't know how to quite do this as a group, but I would really like to help everybody to go deeper with this. So I'm going to shut up and listen for a second and about how to help you with this, because I'd like to help you with this. Okay, so the first thing about these things that are challenging for us is first, wow, there's so much coming in. All right, so I'm going to try to move through this somewhat quickly. You can come back and listen to the recording if you want to. So it's like 16 and a half minutes into it. So is that, first of all, is to understand and be really gentle and kind to yourself that whatever this is that's showing up in your life, and there may be a few of them, that's just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. I haven't wanted to deal with this. Holy heck. Is to first of all just be really kind to yourself and say, wow, I'm dealing with all this uncertainty in life, and then here this thing is, relationship, difficulty, fear is coming up big time, and maybe if you tune in you realize actually the fear has been back there driving a lot of all of that activity. And with that activity gone, then what's there is that kind of fundamental fear of life, fear of being able to take care of yourself, fear of whatever. So first of all, is be really kind to yourself and say, okay, this is a challenge. Second is, this is hard to believe sometimes until you've kind of tried it, but is that sometimes a significant part of the solution to a problem or difficulty comes simply by being willing to stop and look at it. Stop and look at it. Stop and with interest, with curiosity, with a sense of wonder of not already knowing exactly what it is, knowing exactly how you're going to get out of it, knowing exactly what to do. To just be willing to look at it. There's a deeper part of us, what I call the unique genius, in more spiritual terms, soul, spirit, authentic self, true self. I often use the word unique genius. Less baggage in a way. Also the idea that there is something unique about it. It may be this spiritual part of us, but it's a unique expression. It's our unique expression. It's there. It doesn't have that problem. We have that problem. But this deeper part of us doesn't have that problem. It sees it. It sees a lot more about it than we've been willing to. And it also knows how to show us the way out of it. So, when we get caught up in the fear, the anxiety, what's that word? Fill in that word. Avoidance. Then this deeper part of us that can help us and show us the way isn't available to us because we're caught up in the running away and trying to hide. So the beauty about this time of sitting and being willing to look at something is that there's a few things that happen in that space where you do this. I have a couple clients really going through this right now with some difficult stuff in their lives, and it can be really challenging, but it's just amazing at what can happen by having the courage to be able to do this. So the first thing that happens is we begin to feel feelings that maybe we haven't wanted to feel. It's kind of amazing how much of a kind of robot in a certain way we humans are around things like feelings. So one is to just be willing to feel the feelings. Understand that those feelings often really don't have a whole lot to do, or a lot of what's the feelings there doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to do with what's right in front of us, but it's stuff, older stuff, and just being willing to feel the feeling and let it move through. So, God, this is how to do this. This is there's a lot behind all this stuff, and I feel like I can't. It doesn't make any sense to say it all to you, because the thing is, these feelings, these emotions, basically it's trapped energy. So the fear around whatever it is that you have in front of you, let's say, fill in the blank. If it's not fear, whatever it is, avoidance, overwhelm, sadness, grief, fill in the feeling. I'll use fear. Maybe I'll say agitation. I like agitation because it's kind of whatever it is that feels like this in us. Is that the most helpful way I find to look at it is because we tend to look at it unconsciously. We tend to relate to that feeling like the little child in us that was overwhelmed and felt that feeling and didn't know what the hell to do with it. And the body basically just says, look, don't worry about it. I got it for you. You can't deal with it. You don't have somebody around you to support you to deal with. I'm going to deal with it. And it takes it and it puts it away. So in psychotherapy, and kind of Freud called this stuff suppression, repression, denial, this kind of stuff. From an energetic standpoint, it's basically taking and encasing that energy of fear, overwhelm, sadness that's too much for us when we're younger, and it takes it and it just takes it, in essence, takes it out of the active system so it doesn't, to use an electrical metaphor, blow our circuits. Too much for us. So when these emotions come up, what also comes up with them, one way to think about it, is the 4-year-old that couldn't deal with it. So she's like, it comes up and there's a part of us that's just like, and it's very habitual. It's very habitual. So it's just to realize, wow, there's a lot going on here. So again, in that spirit of being kind to yourself, just being willing to sit and look at the situation and feeling the feelings that are coming up, it's like, oh my God, there's a lot, there's shit going on. There's stuff going on there. And just to put some space around it, be interested, be curious. Be interested, be curious, which is different than solving the problem, making it go away. Does that make sense? Because we tend to want to just get this stuff, let's get on with it. It's funny, I saw my grandmother. Just get on with it. So to be willing to be there with it, take care of the little kid in us. It's like, okay, come on, we can do this, yeah. And allow the feeling, think of it as energy, because that's all it is. It feels a certain way, it feels overwhelming. Think of it as energy that's in essence trying to move out of the system because it couldn't when we were 4, it couldn't when we were 6, it couldn't when we were whatever. And now as an adult, realizing, let's let this stuff out. So around fear particularly, I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm living in a place where I'm not surrounded by it. I'm really, knock wood, lucky. Consider myself really lucky. But I talk to friends and I talk to clients and I realize people are really, it's bringing up a lot for everybody that probably is for you in some ways, sometimes more, sometimes less. So it can be helpful to understand, because I just gave you a way to kind of allow that fear to come up and express itself. And you think about it, letting it go out. Maybe I'm going to share something with you guys later, but is let it go out. Because the thing is, the fear we're experiencing now, look, there's a virus, people are dying, we don't really, there's just a lot of unknowns about it, etc. It's a situation that by its very nature brings up fear, doubt, anxiety. Yes. And the reason why it can be so overwhelming is there's a lot of fear in us that's stored away that we haven't taken the time, nor anybody ever taught us or told us or showed us how to go in to release this fear. So when there's fear out in the environment, there's fear pumped at us through the kind of stuff we're reading. Please stop reading that stuff. Because the fear that's coming at us from these things, that if you think of it as energy, that level of emotion, anxiety, people talk about vibration or frequency, that level of energy, that level of consciousness coming from the outside and around us, we have a choice about how much to give ourselves to it, for one. That's important. But then that out here, when we allow that to come in, the stuff in us, the fear that's in us already, that has nothing to do with the current situation whatsoever, which already is challenging, all this other stuff inside of us that basically is at that same vibration, so that the stuffed fear in us starts to vibrate too. So anytime you're ever in a situation, so people call this now like triggering, getting triggered is like the kind of way of thinking about this stuff. But I think that we have a collective experience now of the whole damn world getting triggered like crazy to some degree or other. So what can you do about that? So I'm not somebody that can talk to you about what to do about the medical part of it. So I'm assuming you didn't come here for that. Because if you did, I'm sorry. But that's not my thing. But what I can help you with is how to handle the emotional, energetic part of this. So one is, don't let that stuff in your environment any more than you need to. And as you may be realizing, depending on how much your life has been affected by this, is that now we're getting the chance to see that there's a whole hell of a lot, some more, some less for some people, that existed as normal, status quo, had to be, must in life before, that now you may be getting to realize, well, maybe that's not true. Or at least questioning, like, wow. So some parts of life, maybe it's like, this is kind of a little better than it used to be. Other parts are like, oh my God, I can't deal with this, right? These different things. We're starting to see that all of these conclusions, a lot of conclusions we had about life, about our lives, the way we had to live our lives, the way life must be lived in the world, are up for question. And they're up for question in our own experience because life has taken a lot of that away from us. Sorry. So part of what happens when I get in this space is stuff comes to me, energy comes to me. So bear with me, I'll put it into words. It's such a huge blessing we're being given right now in this way. In this way. So understand that I've had many blessings in my life, personally, which hurt like fucking hell. And maybe I wasn't so clear when they were happening that they were blessings. Sometimes not so much. Didn't like it. Other things were more clearly blessings. It's like, here you go. Thank you very much. I wanted that. But other things can be quite challenging and painful. But what what got about that was that this opportunity that we're each being given, that we each get to decide if we're going to take it, how we're going to take the opportunity, if we're going to see it as an opportunity or not. Is that life has been disrupted enough And I get the sense it's going to go on for a while longer. Disrupted enough that it's giving us the chance to question So what happens is I just pull a card because it helps me to focus. Sometimes when I get out, it helps me to focus my things. So I pulled this card. So Ten of Swords, it helps us to focus when we have all of these beliefs around us. All these beliefs around us that we believe to be true. We believe to be true. All these thoughts, all these beliefs that we believe to be true about what our life had to be, needed to be, should be, must be, and how life that we live together should be, must be. That now is we're getting a chance to question them. So, to question these things, to kind of see, what do I want? What do I need? What am I learning about myself? So now I'm taken back to where we started. What am I being given a chance to see newly about myself? What I think about myself, how I see myself. Because the environment around me has changed. Some more, some less for all of us. Which in essence gives me these different people, these different situations, give me new mirrors to begin to see myself in relationship to. It's one of the beauties of traveling, for instance. Maybe you've had this experience of traveling, like you're in a situation that's new, circumstances are new, people are new. You don't have the usual suspects, the usual circumstances in your life to be constantly, in some ways, reflecting back to you who you are, what you do, how you do it, what your worth is, how you're seen by others, how you project wanting to be seen by others, all of these things. So that's part of why I love traveling. It gives me a chance to get to know myself in new ways and discover things about myself. So in a similar vein, life is giving the opportunity, should you decide to take it, with this change of circumstances, to have it reflect back to you in new ways. And the guidance from the cards in this reading were basically to look for that Ace of Cups. So as you're stopping and looking at the circumstance, looking at the situation, being willing to see it for what it is, allowing yourself to feel the feelings that you have about it. It's like having a real experience of this circumstance. Only after engaging in that, being willing to see, being willing to feel, just letting it be, assuming that you don't know, being curious about what it is, being curious, not calling yourself an idiot, not calling yourself bad, not saying that they're awful, not knowing how to get out of it. This space of I don't know, but I'm curious. What is this? What is this thing that I haven't wanted to deal with for a long time? What is it really? Why am I so scared of it? So only after doing that, to begin asking yourself, what would make me feel good here? Like deeply feel good. How could this situation be different? How could I be different? How could I see myself differently? How could I act differently? How could I respond in another way that would make me feel good about this? And let that come up as you ask it as a question that's an open-ended question. Because then this deeper part of us, what I call unique genius, you can begin to hear it more. Because you've created the space for it and you're not running away from the situation and you're opening up with curiosity, not imposing your preconceived notions on it. Wow. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to see, you know what, I want to kind of see if I can see comments because I'm really curious to see how this is landing over there, to know exactly where to go. So if you guys could please put in the comments, oh, you know what's going to happen when I get back? What I'm worried about is the camera's going to screw up again. All right, so next time I do this, I'll have this figured out more. So thank you for your patience and for your love and your care and your support. I appreciate it. So let me get back to where I was. So hopefully that lands and makes some sense to you. And I'm going to offer something that came to me earlier. I'm going to have to put it into the comments. I can't get there now. So I'm going to put it in the comments afterwards and come back if you'd like. Basically what I'm willing to send to you, I would love to send to you, and is an audio. It's a guided meditation that I give to my clients to help them to do this work that I do with them one-on-one, to do it by themselves at home. It's a way to access the trapped emotional energy. So I was just describing to you how to sit and look at it and create space to allow it to come up. See it as energy. See it as energy, not as fear and to be afraid of it, because that comes up too. But you bring the adult part of you forward, and you say, okay, let's just see and look at this. So I described that particular way to look at this. There's another way also to do it, which really gets in there and to use this tool. So if you'd like, one way to do it, if you'd like to have it, DM me, message me on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and say yes, yes, please. And then I can send you the link to where that is on Messenger. Okay, so guys, thank you. I'm going to pull some cards about kind of how to kind of look at this, maybe some more information that's like at a global level or kind of a less personal level, and just see what can come out. I tell you, we're going to get back to the personal because that's just where I get led. But let's see. Let's step back a little bit and see. I'm hoping this feels supportive and uplifting and expansive, because it is. It's freaking amazing. And I just feel like it's been, ever since this was coming, anyway, I've just been getting all kinds of information about this. I've just been seeing it that on one hand, that basically we are in a time where we're moving into something new, that we're not going back to where we came from. That life, in essence, is going to be disrupted enough that we just won't be able to go back and recreate. On so many levels, we won't be able to recreate. And that will cause disruption, but it gives us the opportunity on an individual level. And this is the game I play. So other people that I know play this game, kind of live their lives working at the level of groups of people or organizationally. For me, I play it at the level of the individual human being. And is that we get the opportunity, because of this, in essence, to recreate ourselves to the degree that we want to, the degree we feel led to. And my work is to help people to, I wouldn't say it recreate in terms of what I do. I would call it align their lives with their essence, with their unique genius. So if that speaks to you, I think I'm going to be doing more of these. So maybe if you'd like more, if you found this helpful, let me know in the comments, please, so I can, and anything you guys can give me, because I was led to do this. It felt really right. And I mean, I teach and stuff, but like doing this way, and this is new for me to do it this way. So any comments you have about what you liked, what you didn't like, please feel free to put them in the comments or message me. I would love them, because I feel really called to support more people than I'm able to when I do one-on-one work. So, and I'm really allowing myself to be led, and Spirit's going to lead me through your comments and other ways I get information. So please, I would love it. Okay. So I've got 4 cards down here. I tried to find a way to get the camera so you could see my cards, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it here. Um, so, starting out with this is kind of, well, I could read this either at the level of the collective or personally. But basically, it's kind of an overview, the way I'm seeing this. It's like um, that we are on a new journey. We got the Fool and kind of following behind the Queen of Cups in reverse. So this 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 part of us, this experience of being fully, um, it's funny because I don't know who's here and I don't know what language you're used to using, fully embodied, fully present, fully in your life, having an experience that is emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's a full experience of life, that you feel good in, feel at home in. This is what's being given to us to say, like, that's, in terms of what I'm reading here, that's the context that life is giving us. And the thing is that, guys, I know that this is really challenging time for people because I'm talking to people that life is challenging. But the place that I'm going to be coming from, because it's where I get led. If I get led a different direction, I'll come from. But it's like how to deal with the practical, how to deal with the challenging practicalities of life, but in the perspective that actually meets this bigger vision of what's happening. Because you can, any experience that we have, you can tune into it. In essence, one way to see it is at different levels. So from basically, at the kind of the lowest, less helpful, less powerful level of like, I'm a victim here, to, you move it on up in the sense of I have control, I have power, I can call the shots here. The game that I'm playing and the game that I'm trying to really kind of help people pull into is, that's all true, but there's a whole other game happening that is bigger than us, that's a part of us, that needs us, that's kind of asking us to step forward into something bigger in ourselves, bigger than we've known ourselves to be. So the way that shows up for the human being is Queen of Cups is one of the ways. Is where do you feel, I want to say feel good, but it just doesn't cut it. Because there's all kinds of ways to feel good in life that don't necessarily give us the sense of fullness of being able to own and be and express and continually expand into all that we are. And I just feel like now is the time when life is saying, guys, it's time. It's time. So those places where, for whatever reason, no blame, no shame, no guilt about this, please take that on. Please allow yourself to take that on. We're giving ourselves a hard time so much, so much. Whew. I'm not going to be able to sleep after this. Is life is saying, guys, gals, women, men, my beloved sons and daughters, it's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop settling in those areas of life that don't bring out the fullness of who you are. You kind of get that. I want to kind of bring out the fullness, not in a kind of like full of yourself way, but full of self way. So, and we're on a new journey. We're on a new journey, the Fool. We are on a new journey to find that. And where we're going to be taken is to find our strength. So the thing with the strength card, so these cards are in French. So, but the strength card is basically that sense of inner strength, inner knowing, inner sense of capability, of capacity, of of it's a kind of courage in this way, not courage over, but courage to be. Courage to be all of who we are. And in order to do this, for those of you that know the tarot, I'll try to kind of say, in order to do that, life is saying, don't go so fast. Eight of Wands. In other decks, it's more clear. It's like forward movement, quick communication, energy moving. In reverse, I'm reading it as not so fast. There's things here to deal with. There's you to deal with. So, thank you for, I'm going to say a few more things, but I just want to say thank you for coming. And thanks for showing up for yourself. Thanks for your support. I mean, you may not know who I am or whatever, but there's this machine, it was lighted, there's 19 people here. And there have been a number of people here for a while. So thank you for, I hope this has been helpful to you. Because it's a time where, and this is a time that I've known it's coming just because of the kind of work I've done and the circles I've played in for the last 30 years. From all kinds of different places, spiritual, non-spiritual, Aboriginal, the technological, people that are futurists, people looking at, I went to, when the hell was that? 2001, right after 9/11. 2001 was at the 100th anniversary of the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize. They did a 3-day seminar. Life worked it out that I got planted there with other journalists and was one of the few people that wasn't a previous Nobel Peace Prize winner in the room and got to interview these people. It was really amazing. But these guys, not necessarily spiritual, the Dalai Lama, Desmond Tutu, beautiful men. They were speaking about the kinds of difficulties that were going to come on the planet soon and we would have to deal with. And different people from different times have talked about these times that we're now in. We are in the birth canal. I was given this image the other day. It's like we're in the birth canal and we're being birthed into a completely different experience of ourselves, experience of life, the experience of creating life here together collectively. As we move into the time of Aquarian energy taking over, the sense of futuristic, of visions, of technology. So what the hell is going to happen with technology? Another whole story. But technology is coming to the fore. What's going to happen with it? Well, part of it depends on each and every one of us. What part of ourselves are we living out of as we move forward to create our lives individually and then collectively? What part of ourselves are we living out of? Because we need many, many, many more of us on this planet living out of these greater parts of ourselves. These parts of ourselves that show up when fear's not running the show, when self-doubt, when these beliefs about ourselves, when this putting up with stuff stops. All of these are ways that dampen the human spirit as you, as me. And it is time now. Life, big L life, is saying, stop, shut up, sit down, I want to talk to you. And so it's been a pleasure to be able to talk to you. It's a profound time that we're living in. I just invite you to embrace it in that light. And let's do this again, because I'm realizing that not everybody sees things in this way. And it's been an incredibly powerful way for me to finally embrace in my life about 5 years ago. It's transformed my life inside and out a couple times. And it's the hugest blessing I've ever had in my life. And I feel like that life is now saying, look, we're going to all do this together. And doing it together means each of us doing our part, which starts at home. It starts in here. Being willing to actually be with ourselves and check in what's working and what's not, with an open mind, being willing to look at it freshly, allow new information to come in from wherever it comes in. Ask for help. God, spirit, guides, angels, my left shoe, empty coffee cup, is just open up, ask for help, and seeing things differently. And feeling the feelings that come up when we stop and we take the time to be with ourselves. So often in sessions with people, I'll kind of find myself going like this as I'm talking to them and they're kind of getting into the pain. I just find myself going like this. And then I ask them, it's like, why don't you give yourself a hug? And can sound kind of trite or whatever. But oftentimes it's things like this where we give ourselves the message. We give those parts of us that are scared, the parts of ourselves that are confused or doubting. We give the parts of ourselves the sense that there's somebody there that cares. We give the parts of ourselves some sense that we're in it together and it's going to be okay. So we're going to get through this, guys. And if I can help it, we're going to get through this as bigger, better, more beautiful, bold people. Each in our unique ways. Each as more clear, more brilliant, more blossomed, I guess it's springtime most places, versions of ourselves. Not trying to be anybody else but us. It's amazing to watch somebody unfold. Watch them kind of cry at the beauty that comes out of them when they dare to kind of sit and let themselves feel their own pain. And realize that underneath that, so thanks for stopping by. And I would really love your comments, either in the comment section or send me a message. What you found helpful, any suggestions you have, because I want to do this again. So for those of you just starting your day, have a wonderful day. I'm probably going to go outside and take a walk a little bit and then try to get some sleep. It's 11 o'clock here. So much love to you. Be strong by sitting down with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Okay. One last card, because I don't know how to end this. Let's see at this. I think I lost. There we go. One last card, because I don't know how to end this, and I kind of don't want to because it feels good. Time to shine. The sun. It's time to shine. It's time to be willing to discover, like little children, like innocent little children who don't know yet. because they haven't yet gone through life. They haven't been told what to think. So to find that part in yourself that's willing to look anew at you and be willing to just be there when it's a cloudy day, when the sun's shining, when it's a rainy day. Because sometimes sitting through those rainy days, those rainy afternoons, I have a lot of water in my chart, so I'm a real crier. Those rainy days are followed by the most beautiful sunny days. And they just keep getting better and better. So what's going on in here, is in large part determining how we experience what's out there. What's out there is what's out there. How we experience it, how it affects us, what we choose to do about it, that's an inside job. So, much love to you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.